What are some of the advantages and disadvantages of buying postcards in huge lots? Let's talk about it. Hey guys, Ken here. Welcome back to the channel. On today's video, I want to talk with you about some of the advantages and disadvantages of buying postcards in huge lots. Now, I know that when you first get started in postcards, that's what we all seem to gravitate towards, but I just wanted to go over these points just to make you think a little bit and maybe it'll help you out. Okay, let's first talk about the advantages. The advantages that I can think of, number one advantage is inventory. Okay, when you're first starting out, selling postcards, you need to have a lot of inventory. Because if you don't have a lot of inventory, what happens is you run out of stock and then you run out of things to list, which I've done on occasion. Not very fun because, when you don't have cards to list, then you end up just recycling everything. And when people that follow you on eBay, when they, follow your eBay store, then they kind of look for new stuff. And if you don't have anything new to show them, that they might get bored and just not come back for a while. So you want to make sure you've always got inventory to list. Well, that's one of the advantages of buying a lot of cards. John Miller from Popeye's Postcards recently, last year, made a purchase of over like 1 million postcards. Okay, probably won't have to source for the rest of his life. I don't know, but buying postcards in large, huge lots gives you that inventory you need to start listing cards. You always have an inventory to list. Another advantage of buying postcards in large lots is the fact that your price point is extremely low. Okay, you buy, I don't know, 1,000 cards, 5,000 cards or more. Your price point is probably going to be anywhere from 5 cents to maybe 25 cents per postcard. Well, that can be a great advantage because when you've got a price point that low, when your cost of goods is that low, if you can flip that card for a decent amount of money, that's a great return on investment. Okay, a lot of times I'll buy cards at around 20 cents a postcard, and I'll end up flipping them for $15. That's a great return on investment. I don't think you can get that kind of return on investment from just selling general merchandise. The percentage is much higher. That's another advantage of it. Okay, what's another advantage of buying postcards in huge lots? The thrill of not knowing exactly what you're getting. We all love the hunt. We all love, it's like kind of when you buy a huge lot of postcards, you kind of get excited about what's in it because, the seller can't always show you every card that's in it. And you might come across some really cool cards. You're looking through them and go, wow, that's fantastic. That's a great card, and it's just the thrill of seeing what you're going to get. It's kind of like a surprise, it's like Christmas. You never know what you're going to get, right? So that's another advantage of buying in huge lots. Okay, now let's talk about the disadvantages of buying cards. Now, strictly, this is my opinion, and you can agree to disagree. But the thing is, one of the disadvantages is when I look at people that buy huge, I'm talking massive lots, there's a good chance that you're going to get a lot of duplicate. Now, there's nothing wrong with duplicate, okay? If you have a card that has great content on the front of the card face, if you have a card that has interesting subject matter, on the face of the card, then having more of that card, if that card will sell, then yeah, that can be a great advantage because it doesn't cost you as much in listing fees because let's say you have 25 cards of, old cards in New York in the 1900s. Well, a lot of people are going to want to buy those cards. So it's good to have those, when somebody buys one, they won't be left out. So that is a good advantage. But the bad advantage is when you get duplicates that basically have a very low card value. If you get like a chrome card of, say, I don't know, bushes and trees and mountains that haven't changed in 100 years, that can be a disadvantage because now you've got, say, 25 cards of the same thing and it's a card that just is going to sit in your store and collect dust. It's just not going to sell, or it's not going to sell very much, or you're not going to sell very many of them, and they're just going to sit there forever. Okay. And when you buy huge lots, the seller isn't going to really go through those cards and try to take out all the duplicates. They're just going to lot that thing together, put it in a box, and ship it to you. Okay. So there's a greater chance when you buy huge lots of getting a lot of duplicates that may not have a great value, and you end up with a lot of what some postcard sellers call junk. Okay, that's one disadvantage. Another disadvantage that I see when buying postcards in huge lots is the fact that it's going to take you a long time to recoup your investment. And this is just the way I look at it. You don't start actually turning a profit on postcards until you've recouped your entire investment back. When I buy cards, I want to buy cards in smaller lots because basically I can recoup my investment back very quickly. Even if you drop like $4,000 or $5,000 on cards, depending on what you sell those cards for, it may take you 6, 8, 9, 10 months before you actually start turning a profit. Like when you go out and purchase a franchise here in the town I live in, I found out that if you wanted to buy a Burger King franchise restaurant, okay, you got to come up with $3 million to buy one of those restaurants. Now, you're not going to turn a profit on that until that $3 million is paid back. So even if you drop $5,000 on your credit card, until you pay off that credit card, you're really not turning a profit. You are profiting per card, but all of that has to go back into paying back the credit card. And you really don't start technically making a profit until you actually pay off your investment. Okay, that's number 2. Let me look at one more. Another disadvantage I see is that when you buy postcards in huge lots, you're going to have to look at the fact that if you're buying those cards off of a reseller, a postcard reseller, and you go to their eBay store and you see that they are a reseller on postcards, chances are that if you're buying a huge lot from them, they've already cherry picked through those cards. Okay, they've already gone through them and picked out the best ones to resell for, maximum profit. And they're just kind of lotting the others together. They're low value and they're just, selling it for whatever they can get for it. And that's a good place to start. But as you go further in your postcard career of selling, maybe full time, you want to graduate to more higher value cards. Well, chances are you're not going to see that in a huge lot that somebody sells where they're just trying to get rid of their quote unquote junk. They're just trying to sell off their lower value cards that you might be able to sell for maybe $1, $2, $3 each. And you're not going to make a huge profit from that. So I see that as another disadvantage because, like I said, they're going to cherry pick through, and we've all done it. I've done it. You cherry pick through the best cards and then you just kind of, sell off the rest. Because what you don't want to do, and I think we've all done this too, we're all guilty of this, is when you're first starting out, you want to fill up your store with a lot of postcards. But if you're filling up your store with a lot of postcards that are all low value, unless that's your business model, unless you're trying to just make up your sales in volume, if you're selling your cards for $2, $3, $4 or whatever, and you just make up your sales in volume, yeah, you're going to have more sales because they're going to be cheaper than the higher volume, but you're not going to attract collectors. You're going to be attracting just hobbyists and things like that, which is okay, but it's going to take you a lot longer to maybe develop a full-time income from that because you have to sell so many cards, and that could be a detriment. So those are some advantages and disadvantages that I see. Feel free to leave in the comments if you've run into any disadvantages or advantages that I haven't mentioned. Let's have a conversation about it and just leave it in the comments. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with whether you want to go for just the higher value cards or stick to the lower value cards and make it up in volume sales. Whichever way you want to run your business, that's perfectly fine. For me, personally, I've been doing this now a little over 3 years, and even though I started out selling, I have almost 5,000 cards in my store now, but I think I'm graduated to the point now where I'm going after some of the higher value cards, because obviously the higher value cards you can sell for more money because they're more valuable. It attracts a whole different demographic of people. You run into collectors. I mean, I remember I bought a lot of 150 cards off a local store here. It was just, they were just lotted together in a bag. But I found one card in there that was dated 1903, and it was a real photo postcard. And I ran into a collector in New York, and I sold it to him for like $50. So that paid 5 times over what I paid for the lot. So there's advantages and disadvantages. Like I said, it's your store. You can run it the way you want. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Let's have a conversation about it, and let's see if we can help each other out. Okay, I guess that's it for now. I'm going to go. But as always, if you got anything out of this video, you know what to do. Smash that like button. It helps the channel. We're getting really close to monetization, which is very exciting for me. I never thought it would get this far, but we're getting close. We're within striking distance now. Okay, so if you got something out of this video, smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Feel free to do that. Just takes a couple seconds. Doesn't cost you anything. I'm going to go. You guys have a great day, and I wish you the best and success in your postcard business, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care, and bye for now.